You know how to speak English a little
No.
bit. No?
Thank you. Hi.
Good.
You wanna come?
What does he think about it?
Qu'est-ce que tu penses de New York en général?
Salut, moi c'est Thierry. Déjà je voudrais m'excuser parce que moi je parle pas anglais, donc voilà, il y a ma collègue qui est là pour faire la traduction. Donc déjà je suis enchanté et je suis très content de t'avoir avec nous.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. It's nice to be here.
Il y a beaucoup de personnes qui te connaissent, mais il y en a d'autres qui ne te connaissent pas, donc j'aimerais que tu te présentes pour savoir en fait tu viens d'où, tu fais quel type de photographie et quel est ton but aujourd'hui.
I'm from here. I mostly take pictures of my daily life. I like to take pictures on the street, mostly because it's good practice. I don't necessarily like street photography. So I just have a camera basically, and whatever I do, walking around, I just like to take pictures of my everyday.
Aujourd'hui tu es photographe, est-ce que tu vis de la photographie ou tu as un travail à côté aujourd'hui?
It's just for fun. I have a job. Yeah, I think if you really want to love doing this, like you can't have this as a job because it's too stressful.
Dis-moi, comment tu es arrivé à faire de la photographie aujourd'hui? Tu es quand même pas mal suivi aujourd'hui sur les réseaux sociaux, sur Instagram particulièrement. Et comment tu es arrivé à faire de la photographie et pourquoi la photographie, pas une autre forme d'art?
Because I think you really have to decide at some point to do something. You have to pick something. You can't be. A lot of people, I think, you can be passionate about a lot of things, but in order to really be good at doing what you're doing, you really have to decide that that's what you're going to do and forget about everything else. So like if you're passionate about drawing or if you're passionate about music and photography, for example, you have to pick one because you can't be like a master at both. Some people can, but most people can't. And for me, like I like doing this. It's fun and I want to be the best. I want to be really good at what I do. So that's why I have to choose one thing.
Tu as choisi la photographie, mais est-ce que tu as eu des photographes qui t'ont inspiré ou des artistes, pas forcément la photographie, qui t'ont inspiré et qui t'ont poussé à faire de l'art?
Yeah, I think I get a lot. Visual art, I think Caspar David Friedrich, I think he's French, maybe, but he was a big one, like a long time ago. And mostly like visual, like painting especially. I think painting is good because if you look too much at photography, you start copying other people, where painting is more abstract. And I think being inspired in a more abstract way is better than trying to copy other people. And also music too. Music is I love listening to different types of music. And music can take you to a different place, especially from different countries. Like I love listening to music from like the 70s and 80s from like Asia, for example, because it's very different and you don't really hear it very much. So when you're walking around and it translates this place, it translates where you are, it brings you to somewhere different. That's why movies have soundtracks, right?
Quelle est ta personnalité? Tu es assez connu quand même et on connaît très peu de toi. Tu peux en dire un peu plus sur ta personnalité et ce que tu es?
I don't know if I would say famous, but I think it's important for people to have their own life outside of who they present themselves to be online. Especially when you do have a lot of people, I'm not saying that's me necessarily, but when you do have a lot of people, like it is important to, even for yourself, just separate the two, because it's what is reality is like me here, it's very different than who you present yourself online.
Pour rebondir dans ce que tu dis, tu fais la séparation entre ta vie et la photographie, mais est-ce que tes photos, est-ce que c'est pas une vitrine aussi c'est pas un moyen d'expression, toi qui es assez humble, qui est assez distant avec tout ça, est-ce que la photographie c'est pas un moyen pour toi de t'exprimer et de partager tout ce que tu as dans la tête en soi?
you have to take pictures of things that you actually care about, right? Like, otherwise, what's the point? Like, if you're a painter, any type of visual art is a way of expression, but you have to have something to say, and you can't have anything to say unless you care about what you're doing. And so I try to prioritize. Lately, I've been trying to prioritize caring about what I'm taking pictures of. And it's not that I'm trying to express. I don't go out trying to express things. But I think if you're really doing something that you care about, then everything that you want to express is going to come out anyway. Whereas if you try so hard to talk about love, or it doesn't work. All that stuff comes after. Like when you look like at the picture and you're trying to tell a story, like that's after. It's later. And it might not even be me doing it, somebody else who says that that's what it is, you know?
Moi, je suis fan de ton travail et je vois vraiment un côté cinéma où tu as vraiment ce détail-là où tu as envie de raconter quelque chose. C'est assez poétique. Je ressens une certaine solitude. Tu peux m'en parler un peu de ça, de cette solitude-là et de ce côté très cinéma, je trouve. Très, très, très beau d'ailleurs.
Well, first I appreciate him saying that. It's very nice. Part of it is that when you have a camera and when you do this, you really have to be alone, number one. You have to be by yourself. If you try, it's really impossible to do it with somebody else. So you have to be in that mindset to begin with. And when you're in that mindset, all that stuff comes naturally, right? Like, naturally your pictures are gonna look like everything you just said about like solitude or whatever. And also, like when I shoot or when I take a picture, if you really think about photography as a whole, when you take a picture, you're taking a frame out of them. If you pause a movie on the TV, like you stop the movie, you're taking a picture. You're taking that frame from the movie, and that's what it is when you take a picture, right? So that's why your pictures have to look like that. That's why I try to make my pictures. Maybe I'm not necessarily trying to make them look like that, but because I think like that, that's how they look. So the byproduct is it's a natural byproduct of something very deep down. Like I think about that, but that's not what I think about every day. That's something I thought about a long time ago, but it's still there.
C'est ma première fois à New York et c'est bondé de monde, il y a beaucoup de monde. Et moi, quand je regarde tes photos, je vois pas autant de monde en fait. Et je trouve ça hyper fascinant dans une ville hyper cosmopolite, hyper bondée, hyper bruyante. Et toi, tu arrives à rendre ça tout calme, tout smooth, on va dire. C'est ça qu'on dit en anglais, tu vois.
You are, no matter where you are, you're sort of just passing through the environment. So it's like I always like to think about looking through a window. Like there's a window. And so I've always thought about that you're on the outside looking in. And so you don't have to be part of what's happening. You're sort of just watching. I think you can do this anywhere. Like you can do this, you can practice that way of thinking no matter where you are. New York is obviously very loud, and I'm sure Paris is the same way. I've been to like Bangkok. The pictures I have from that time I feel like are very similar. Probably because you think like about looking through the window, and when you have that again buried like way deep down, then it's easier for you to create something that is reflective of how you feel inside.
Est-ce que quand tu fais des photographies, c'est vrai que c'est toujours des scènes assez improbables, comme on a dit poétiques, est-ce que tu demandes ou est-ce que tu provoques ce moment-là où c'est devant toi et tu prends la photo?
I think it has to be a mixture of both. Like, and it depends on what you're trying to say. A candid picture is not going to be enough. Like you have to go and have a conversation, and maybe during the conversation when you're talking to them, you open it up because they're talking to you now, and now you can actually take a picture of them, like in front of their face, like you and I, like this close. And if you want to do the person, if you want to represent them in a way that's not manipulative. You know, you can't manipulate the situation. You have to have a conversation with them.
Tu photographies beaucoup à New York, tu m'as dit que t'as photographié à Bangkok. Est-ce que tu photographies ailleurs dans le monde? Est-ce que tu voyages souvent ou sinon tu restes vraiment, ta photographie est vraiment basée sur New York?
New York is just the byproduct of me living here because it's like practice, right? Like you have to do it every day. So where are you going to do it? And it doesn't matter where you live, really. I just happen to live here. My family, this is where I'm from. My family is here. So me taking pictures here is just practice. Because a lot of people, they think that they have to go somewhere, and I've traveled enough to know that that's not true. It's not about you can dream of going to places and you can have a very different experience. Because culturally, things are different, but it's about the way you think.
J'ai vu que tu avais un Nikon ZF. Est-ce que tu as un lien particulier vraiment avec ton appareil photo ou peu importe, n'importe quel appareil photo que tu peux utiliser, ça t'importe peu? Est-ce qu'aujourd'hui tu peux me parler de ton lien et ton rapport avec ton appareil photo?
Well, I have this actually. So it's this and then, and this is like a bad camera, like it's not very good. But I think people also like focus way too much on what they're using, and this I've been shooting a lot of different. I shoot a lot of different cameras. I have many cameras, and I don't necessarily have an attachment with any of them, because it's all about experimentation and trying different things. You can take a good picture with anything. You can take a good picture with a potato, but it's like about what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say with your pictures? You know, and it's good also to experiment with different things.
Le rapport avec l'argentique, je vois que tu m'en as montré un. C'est quoi ton rapport avec l'argentique, avec le numérique, et aujourd'hui pourquoi tu utilises le numérique?
Film is like a waste of money if most of the time it's like a complete waste of money, because most of the people you have to start somewhere, and it's like being good at something takes a lot of practice, and how much money are you going to spend on film trying to get good at taking pictures? If someone wants to get better at something, then it's practice, it's hours, it's time, and unless you have a lot of income and it doesn't really matter to you, then you can shoot film, whatever, and it might help you get better faster. But most people also don't really want to get good at taking pictures either. For them, there's like a social status about shooting, like with a Leica or with film or whatever. And for me, film is something that's like more special, like when you're with your family or something, people you really care about. It's a physical thing. Plus, if you have a camera and there's like light leaks in the film and the film is all messed up, it's more special even in that state because it's a physical thing. It's like a gift.
J'aimerais parler de l'objectif. Je crois que tu es au grand angle ou à l'ultra grand angle. Dis-moi pourquoi tu as choisi de travailler avec ces objectifs-là.
Yeah, I just like 35 because it's more, you can see more, versus like I have many different cameras, but like anything past like 35 I think is too close. But again, you can take pictures with anything that you have, you know, and I would be able to take pictures with whatever, because it's not, but it's my preference. But again, it's not about like, my preference is because I can afford to have my preference, right? If I can't afford to have the luxury to have a preference, it doesn't matter. So I would want to encourage people to not have, like, you can have aspirations, right? Not saying that my camera is an aspiration or whatever, but people have aspirations and they let that get in the way of going out to take pictures. When in reality, you should just be going out to take pictures with whatever you have.
Toi, aujourd'hui, ton rapport avec Instagram, quel est ton rapport avec Instagram? Et j'ai vu que tu faisais beaucoup de réels qui marchaient pas mal.
I mean, I think sometimes it takes away from like what you're doing. People in the past, like the really great photographers, like 50, 60 years ago, didn't have this, and they didn't necessarily need that either. So it's nice to experiment every once in a while, but I don't want to let that take over my life. There are other things that are more important also than just being famous on the internet.
Je comprends ton humilité, mais j'ai l'impression qu'aujourd'hui, on a besoin quand même d'avoir Internet pour pouvoir promouvoir son travail. Et je pense que toi, tu le fais quand même bien, même si tu es assez humble. Par rapport à tes réels, moi, je trouve qu'ils sont hyper ingénieux et je trouve que j'en vois pas d'autres ailleurs. Et toi, ça t'as jamais pensé à faire une chaîne YouTube ou que sais-je, en tout cas, te déplacer d'Instagram?
Maybe someday, but I think it depends, like what's your goal, you know? And for me, I'm blessed enough to have like a good job, and I want to, and like a good a family and stuff, and so I don't want to lose sight of those things, because I think sometimes when you're always chasing something, you can forget about those things that are actually really more important. And also, if you don't care about what you're taking pictures of, like I care about my family, I want to be able to have a job that allows me to be able to travel for vacation, take a vacation, be able to go to these places. Without those things, I can't do what I like to do, and I won't be able to take good pictures if I'm just chasing after something that's really meaningless in the end.
Tu es suivi quand même par beaucoup de personnes, et je le redis. Qu'est-ce que tu veux que les gens ressentent quand ils regardent ta photographie? Est-ce que tu te dis, bon, j'ai fait cette photo-là, je pense que les gens vont penser ça, ou vraiment tu le fais pour toi et que tu laisses libre à chacun? Parce que quand même, sous tous tes posts Instagram, il y a toujours un petit mot, une petite légende. Est-ce que tu influences ou tu influences pas le spectateur?
Yes, of course. Like I think I'm saying all this stuff about it not meaning anything, but I actually do care. How can you not care, right? That's human nature. Yeah, so all of my pictures are on Flickr. They're not organized. It's just as I take them, they're all on my Flickr. So if anybody wants to see all my pictures, they can go to Flickr. On Instagram is different, obviously. Like that's where you have a big audience. You have to try to tell a story and have people be interested. Of course, I think about that. And I also never caption my pictures in general on Flickr, so they're all uncaptioned. It's only on Instagram where I caption like the group of them, which is usually just whatever I'm thinking. I'm not really trying that hard to come up with something. Mostly because the picture should speak for itself and you shouldn't necessarily have to say anything, because why do you need to say something?
Là, on va sortir d'Instagram. J'aimerais savoir si tu as des projets, un projet de livre ou un projet d'exposition, ou est-ce que, bon non, là, moi, tu te dis que ça ne t'intéresse pas actuellement, mais est-ce que tu as ces projets-là sur du long terme?
I would love to do a book someday, but I also think that you really have to, it's a lot of energy and dedication, and I don't feel like I have enough good pictures to even put in a book. I always feel like I have to take the next best picture is the one I haven't taken yet.
Bon, ça c'est un peu la maladie des photographes où moi je suis aussi un peu pareil, où je me dis je vais faire toujours la meilleure photo après, la meilleure photo après. Bon, moi en toute honnêteté, moi j'adore tes photos, donc je pense que tu peux en faire un, mais après ça me regarde que moi.
I appreciate that. That would be nice. Yeah, I hope so. If any French, if anybody in France wants to do something with me, let me know.
Ok,
Yeah,
d'accord,
that'd be nice.
ok, sans problème. Qu'est-ce que tu vois pour la photographie dans le futur?
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are always going to want to tell their story. So I think we don't really have to worry about that much. But of course, like there still always has to be proof. Like people are going to have to, as artificial intelligence and image generation gets better, you're going to have to be able to prove that you took the picture. And that's, I think, going to be really the only thing. So either having you're going to have the negative, which makes sense.
Par rapport à la France, je trouve que les Américains, vous mettez une grande place dans la photographie, où la photographie est bien documentée, où vous avez quand même beaucoup de matière, vous les Américains. Donc je comprends ce que tu veux dire pour l'histoire. Est-ce que toi tu penses que ta photographie sera nécessaire pour le plus tard, ou tu le fais vraiment que pour toi?
Like the future of humanity?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I think so, but I think when you're taking pictures of your family, you're taking pictures for yourself, but you're also doing it to honor them, not only for yourself, but for other people, for example, right? You take a picture of your parents because you love them and you want to honor their memory. So you do it not only for yourself, but you do it for whoever else might see that, whoever it may be, or people that you really love and you really care about. Like you do it to honor them, for for you to be able to remember them, but you do it so that other people can. That's why it's important to take pictures of things that you care about, because otherwise it doesn't matter.
Bon, en discutant avec toi, je vois toute ton humilité et je pense que et toute ta poésie. Ça fait quelques minutes qu'on parle ensemble et ça se ressent vraiment dans tes photos et c'est là qu'on voit que le photographe est vraiment très important dans la définition de son œuvre. Moi j'aimerais que tu me dises en un mot, j'aimerais que tu me définisses en un mot la photographie. Voilà.
One?
Pas-
One word. Like for you, with your
Like history, I guess, you know?
Histoire.
Yeah. It's the history of your life and the history of the things that you see. That's what makes it important.
Je te remercie Sam, c'était très cool de partager avec toi et donc voilà, merci pour ton temps et merci aussi pour ton travail que tu nous donnes. Merci.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have you been here before?
yes.
What does he think about it?
Qu'est-ce que tu penses in New York
Yeah.
en général, ou qu'est-ce que tu penses de New York en général?
Ah, alors non, la première journée,
busy?
non, la première journée que j'ai faite à New York, ça a été beaucoup pour moi. J'ai vu une ville avec beaucoup de monde, assez bordélique, etc., avec une grosse énergie. Et le deuxième jour et le troisième jour, ça a été, mais le premier jour, j'ai dû digérer cette ville-là. Et maintenant, j'adore, je veux revenir maintenant.
Do you guys ever does he ever go to like other parts of Europe, like to take pictures? Does he do that? No, I was just saying he should go.
Ouais, il dit que tu devrais aller justement
Oui,
en
yes.
Roumanie.
Ok.
Yeah, it's very different, very interesting.
Okay.
I was there last year. I went in the fall.
You like?
Romania?
Yes.
Yeah, Romania's
Okay.
great. Yeah, very interesting, very different.
Okay.
C'est super, c'est très intéressant.
Very
c'est
quiet.
Très calme et très différent.
Yeah.
Ok, d'accord. Bah, j'irai. Merci pour l'adresse.
And you can live there too.
Ah
Okay, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.